Hi there. This is my third try. I don't know what's going on. I was trying to do Facebook Live from my desktop and it kept shutting down. So I'm now on my phone. So this is day 29 of the Go Live Every Day on Facebook challenge. And I am having a wonderful time on my wall on Facebook because this morning, as I was reading through my thread, I am particularly hurt and concerned about people in Houston. I have a friend, hi, brother from another mother. I have a friend in Houston that I have not been able to get in touch with. And also, having recently graduated seminary, I have all kinds of folks on my wall that are pastors that are very concerned about the church's response to Houston and what this means. And most especially, good morning, Ro. Most especially, hey, my sister Kwavi. Most especially, I am concerned about someone like Joel Osteen. So let me give a little bit of background. There are conflicting reports I've seen on Facebook where there's one picture that shows his place is flooded. There's another picture that shows everything is sparkling dry. The little golf carts are parked wonderfully. We don't know the whole story. And in this day of fake news, we need to wait and hear what's going on before we just blurb out, and make condemnations. So I started my post on Facebook saying, I don't know what the actual truth is. I did go to Joel Osteen's Facebook wall to read what he had written. And 18 hours ago, he wrote about the flood. And he seemed, he was concerned. He said they're working with Samaritan's Purse, which, if I'm right, I think is related to Jefferson Franklin's church here in the Atlanta area. So there's no doubt that churches play a role in this stuff, whether it's that they give money or they act on site, right? But here's what I want us to think about. It's one thing to talk about leadership, which is what we're doing. I've been talking about leadership all week. It's another thing, and what I'm trying to do with this example of Joel Osteen is to infuse a real life situation that we can all address, like we can relate to it, right? This is a hot button issue right now, and apply these principles of leadership to it. There's the issue of leadership and there's the issue of being a public figure. Did you hear me? There's the issue of being a public figure. There are lots of leaders that are not public figures. Joel Osteen inserted himself into the public eye by being a public figure, by growing his church to the degree that he has, by being on TV all the time, by writing these books and influencing millions of people globally. So when you decide to do that, you have a larger responsibility to the public, okay? Because it's not just about money. It's about caring for people. One of the things we've talked about as a definite leadership trait is the issue of empathy. Empathy is what connects us to each other as human beings. So now let me pause on Joel Osteen, and I want to take you to United Airlines. United Airlines has a CEO, Munoz, I think is his name, and I talked about this sometime a few months ago. Remember when that guy was dragged off of United Airlines plane? You remember when I read that? Oh, Kwavi, good to know. You remember when the guy was dragged off of, I think he was a Vietnamese medical doctor, was dragged off of the plane. Munoz never made a public statement. When he first made his public statement, he said, we are upset about this, right? And Munoz had been the CEO of CTX, companies, that's the railroad company, companies that have nothing to do with the public, right? They just have their customers, they're doing their work quietly in the background. Munoz, however, had an obligation for United because of what happened on social media and how everything went haywire, and he mishandled it. He didn't know how to deal with the public. Switch back to Joel Osteen. Joel Osteen, as a public figure, has a responsibility to the public. So his church not being open, Kwavi just told me he opened up his church an hour ago. It's on Twitter. This is a powerful thing, this thing we call social media, because we help people see issues. I'm not here to condemn Joel Osteen, okay? But I am here to talk about churches and our responsibility to the public, okay? So I'm glad to hear that, Kwavi. Thanks for telling me that. How come every time I get on Facebook, my nose starts itching? It hadn't itched all day. Okay, laugh, ha, ha, ha. Okay, back to Joel Osteen. Public figure, you have a public responsibility. You have to stay in constant communication with the public. We're working on this. We're trying to figure out the most effective way to be of assistance. Are you all okay? Please tweet and tell us how you're doing. Please send us videos of your recovery stories. Please tell us where there's shelter. Please tell us where there's water. That is what a leader does. A leader says it's not about me, it's about you. I feel like Joel Osteen hopped on a plane and got out of town, which he should have done. I'm not saying he shouldn't have done that. I would want to keep my family safe. I'm looking for my friend in Texas. I'm hoping his phone has just disappeared and that he's fine and that he got somewhere else, right? But I want to delve a little bit into Joel Osteen. Let me tell you what I've heard about him. I know he talked about being very regimented about how he does his sermons. It's like 28 and a half minutes, boom. You know, that kind of thing. He is religious about starting on time, everything taking X number of minutes, blah, blah, blah. Hold on a second. He's, sorry about that. I had to check something. He's very religious about that. And so I administer the DISC profile to help people understand their work behaviors. Based on what I know about him, I would rate him a C on the DISC profile. He's conscientious. He's line by line. He is, A, then B, then C, then D. And he's an introvert. I've heard him say that. He likes people, but he's an introvert. I suspect emotionally he shut down on this issue based on his personality, based on very preliminary things that I've observed about him. I believe he shut down, and I believe that he really didn't know what to do. This is why good leaders have good people around them that tell them what to do and know them, know how they are as people. Hi, Corey, and help them overcome the issue at hand. And so Joel's ability to just be systematic, he's probably not functioning well when something like a hurricane comes in and upsets the apple cart, right? And he may or may not, I don't know who he has next to him whispering in his ear what they're supposed to do. However, it is inexcusable that since Friday, he only responded to that larger congregation publicly 18 hours ago. That's inexcusable. The other thing is for him to work with another organization to just send money and supplies. To me, that's toxic charity. Let's talk about what toxic charity is. Toxic charity is what I experienced as a child, growing up in Africa. The white man comes with Jesus and says, okay, we're going to give you this. We're going to give you mosquito nets. We're going to give you vaccines. We're going to give you this. We're going to give you education. We're going to give you a hospital. But we're going to keep ownership of it, and we're just going to let you use it, right? Toxic charity is giving a man fish and not teaching him how to fish. Toxic charity is giving a man fish and not teaching him how to fish. Toxic charity today looks like an institution, because Joel Osteen's church is an institution located in Houston that says, we're okay, we're going to be out here, but y'all be okay, we'll send you water, right? That's not enough. He's going to have to build people's homes. He's going to have to reposition people to rebuild their lives. So I want us to think, as leaders, are we engaging in toxic charity? And the last thing I want to talk about, hey, Corey, right, put me in coach and put the woman in the wheelchair in first class, right? Now, the last thing I want to talk about that got controversial on my wall is how this is racism. How is this situation of Joel Osteen racism? I am not calling Joel Osteen a racist. Years ago, I used to listen to him. I like Joel Osteen. I defend Joel Osteen. Some people say, oh, he's a watered down version of Jesus. There's a segment of our culture that needs the basics of that positivity that he brings, okay? I am not criticizing him. God calls different people to different things. I wasn't there when God called him. I do not have an opinion about that. I like his message. There are times I have been soothed. On my bookshelf, I have a couple of Joel Osteen books. So I'm not criticizing him as a minister. The prosperity gospel must be preached because Jesus said he came to deliver people from the bondage of poverty and illness, right? And when you preach the prosperity gospel in the context of everything else, it is a healing module. It is a mode that is healing. I believe in wealth. I believe our churches should be wealth. I have no issues with the Vatican, with their money. I may have issues with them on other things, but I do not begrudge Christian people any kind of money. Now, why did I bring up this issue of racism? I'm not calling Joel Osteen racist. I am calling systems as racist. So a system in a church that says, when there's a disaster, we get out of town, we lock up our property, we put all our expensive things as high up as possible, and I don't know if he did that, but we protect our property over the lives of the people that need shelter in time of emergency. That system is racist. It's racist because it's elitist and it values property over people. Do you get that? That's what racism does. Racism says you are less than me, and my needs and wants and property, I hold them in esteem above you, even though you breathe the same air I breathe. And please let me preach for 1 minute, because even though Jesus made you and Jesus made me and Jesus died on the cross for you as well as Jesus did for me, my life is superior to yours. That is what racism says. And racism says that there is value in elitism, in whiteness, in westernness, in cityness, in all of these isms, all of the isms, right, that divide and separate us. I actually put them under racism, but they're isms, right? They're based on elitism. So a capitalistic system that we live in that values money and what money can do over the hearts of human people is what I am referring to when I say that the system that his church adheres to is racist. So I know I've stirred up a whole lot of things. You may or may not agree with me. I want your comments. I am passionate. I mean, when I tell you I was built for this, I am passionate about helping people overcome blind spots in terms of how it relates to seeing other people and seeing the value of other people. I was having a conversation with a black woman this morning who we walked past a white man, and she said, you know, I like that guy because he always compliments me. He'll like tell me that purple is beautiful on you. And I said, the reason you like that white man is he sees you. He doesn't see a black woman. He sees you as a human being. The day you lose sight of seeing the people that work with you, the people in your church, the people in your city, the homeless man that you roll past every day, the day you stop seeing that person as a person is the day you've entered into a system of isms that says your life is superior to other people's lives. Your life is not superior to anybody else's life. I don't care if you're Joel Osteen. I don't care if you're T.D. Jakes. I don't care who you are. Your life has as much value as I have, and it is time we begin to call this stuff out and hold each other accountable as human beings to value humanity, We have a leader in this country right now who does not value all humanity. He values some humanity, and it emboldens other people to come forth and value their segment of humanity. And that's not okay. You're better than that. You are capable of loving everybody. You are capable of seeing the humanity in everybody. And you are cheating yourself of the value of human life when you choose to see one person as a model of humanity and not other people. You see, your life, your very freedom is intertwined with my freedom and my liberty. So you may be in Houston and have gotten away, but your freedom to get away is intertwined with everybody who's stuck in Houston and who cannot get out. There is only one level when it comes to humanity. That's right, Kwavi. So I am challenging you today to get away from this system of thinking that says you are better. Humble yourself, right? That's what humility is about, is where we get to see the humanity of each other. That's where leaders, effective leaders, are empathic. They are empathetic and they see the heart of each other. And so I'm encouraging you today. I know I've been on fire today. My little post got me all fired up. So anyway, I'm headed out. I'm hitting the road, headed to Wake Forest School of Divinity, where I'm going to be doing a bunch of coaching this week. I'm so excited. I'm doing some workshops, all this stuff. I love my Wake Forest people. Send me traveling mercies. My freedom is bound up in yours. That's the thing I want you to remember. And let find yourself challenged and need an honest place where you can talk to someone about it. I'm your gal. No judgment. Love, understanding of what it is to be human and how we shortchange ourselves sometimes. Peace to each of you. Peace to Houston. I pray mercy and grace upon the people in Houston, that they will enjoy rescue and relief from this stress. I pray their emotions are soothed. I pray homes are returned to people. And I pray receding waters over Houston. What's your prayer for Houston today? Peace.